All right, welcome to Lab 3.2, Drawing Shapes Again. What we have in the first part, it says, write a snap script or find one you've already written to draw a square. Wait a minute, we've done that already. So in these first three sections, all you have to go is to Lab 1.3 or 2.1. So let's do that. You go to Snap, you open your folder, and I have, look, 1.3 right there. And so now if you look at this, if you remember, if we press the 1 button, I draw a square, the 2 button, a triangle, a 3 button, a diamond, a 4 button, a pentagon. So you could actually use these scripts in today's assignment. So going back to the lab, once you have a square, equilateral triangle, a regular pentagon, and a regular octagon in your code, you have to think, what's so similar about these four shapes? And what sections may you be able to repeat? Okay, well now the next part is, now that we have those four shapes, we're going to do what today is called a custom block. This is the new thing that we're doing today. We're going to take your script from above that draws a square, and we're going to turn it into a custom block. Now let's see how to do that. I'm going to make a new project, and I'm going to title it, actually let's save it as 3.2. And then first I'm going to make my square block, and I believe I wanted to start it in a location 0, 0, point in direction 90, which is that way. And then when I draw something, I always have to put the pen down first. Now, in order to draw a square, I want to make it like 50 each side. And then every time you draw one. Okay, now that we have the code for a square, look, you can click on it and you have a square. Today's assignment is we need to make a custom block. And I'm going to teach you how to do that right now. You go to variables, and down here it says make a block. So I'm going to make a block, and I'm going to call it square. So this is my custom block square, and I'm going to drag the whole code of a square inside of there. Press OK, and now look down here. I have a square. If I click on square, it's going to make one. Isn't that wonderful? Because that's the custom block that we just made. Now, part number 2, it says modify your custom block to use a variable for the number of sides instead of number 4. Okay. Set that variable's value to B4 so that you still draw a square. Well, we know how to draw a variable. Let's see, let's go back to, let's edit the square block. Now, see where it says repeat 4 times? I'm going to make that a variable. So let's make a variable. Let's call it S for sides. And I'm going to put S right there, but it needs to say 4. So I'm going to set S equal to 4. Let's do it right here. So now watch what happens. If I set S equal to 4, this square is definitely going to draw a square. Let's clear it. And okay, we drew a square again. But what happens if I set it to a different number? Well, I think it drew a square because it turned 90 degrees, but it went 6 times. It drew 6 sides. So now what we want to do, if you look at problem 3, now see if you can modify your block that it will work correctly for any number of sides greater than 2. Look closely at your angles in your 4 scripts, section 1, and see if you could spot a pattern. If we look at these 3 scripts, this is the one for a triangle, this is the one for a square, and this is the one for a pentagon. Now the difference is, this has 3 sides, because I'm repeating 3 times, 4 sides, and 5 sides, because I want to repeat, make a side, and then turn 3 times, which makes a triangle. Make a side and turn 90 degrees 4 times, which is a square. Make a side and turn 72 degrees 5 times, which is a pentagon. So now, look at the difference. So a triangle is 120, a square is 90, and a pentagon is 72. Well, as I have more sides, the angle measure gets smaller. If you haven't noticed the pattern yet, 3 times 120 is 360 degrees, 4 times 90 is 360 degrees, and 5 times 72 is 360 degrees. So basically, every time I want to draw a new polygon, I figure out how many sides it has. So let's say an octagon has 8 sides, and I divide 360 divided by 8, and that number goes into the angle degree that I turn. So when I make my new custom polygon in section 3, see if you can modify your block so that it will work correctly for any number of sides greater than 2. Use your custom block in a program that asks the user for a number and then draws a regular polygon. Well, let's do this first. Let's go back to our custom block, and let's make a new block. We'll call it polygon. So in polygon, let's put one of these babies in there. And remember, we need to have a customized side. And now we want to turn, the amount of degrees that we want to turn is, remember, 360 divided by the number of sides. So here this variable is going to be s, so it'll be 360 divided by s. Now I can't write that right here, so I'm going to use an operator. Oh, here's the division. So I'll put that right there. And it was 360 divided by s, the variable. Make sure you put in the variable. Now this should work. Let's put in polygon. And if I set s to something new, let's set s to a fun number like 10. Let's make a decagon. And let's see what happens. Oh, there's my decagon. Let's set it to 8 and make an octagon. There's my octagon. And if we clear it, let's set it to 3 and see if it makes a triangle. It does. So now the last part, it says, use your custom block in a program that asks the user for a number. Asks the user for a number. I think we have a block for that, or asking the user. And then draws a regular polygon with that many sides. Okay, so let's ask the user for amount of sides. We have that in sensing. So if we ask the question, think of a polygon and tell me the number of sides it has. Now, when I get an answer, whatever the answer that is going to be this, and I want to set that to the variable. So if I ask, think of a polygon, tell me the amount of sides it has, and if I write, I want a 5-sided pentagon, it should draw a pentagon. And that is your lab. Enjoy.